Hello, I'm Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest YouTube video. Today I'm going to share a flip through of my Hobonichi pages from April, and I keep this journal inside my cover from Start Bay notebooks. Unfortunately, they don't do them anymore. In the front of my journal, I have a plastic wallet, and here I have my mood board for spring. So this is all of the colours and imagery that I tend to be inspired by at this time of year. So I'm using lots of these types of colours in my journal pages at the moment. So right at the front of the Hobonichi, I've got my yearly calendars. And so April was quite busy. I always write my top 3 things I want to get done that month here. And then I either plan things out that are definitely coming up or just tend to jot a little note in there of what I've done that day. And then my monthly calendar for April's here. Along the left, I've got a list of all the tasks and things that I want to try and work on throughout the month. If it's got a cross, I completed it. If it's got half a line, if it's just all got half a cross, sorry, that means I've started it. And then any kind of forward arrows are things that I've moved into May's task list. And on my calendar, if I've got things that are time sensitive, I draw some lines around them just to make sure that they stand out on my page. And again, I then write down perhaps things that I've been working on, so Patreon filming, work on tutorial, just so I've got a good overview of how I spent my time throughout the month. And the washi tape is from London Gifties, and the sticker designs are ones that I created for the Patreon printable bundle for the month. And then that's how May is looking so far. And then with my weeklies, again, I always write my task list along the left-hand side, so I refer back to that monthly task list and write down what I hope will be realistic to work on throughout the course of that week. I never get everything done, but I find it useful just having it there when I'm planning out my days to see what are the main priorities for me at the moment. And then here I roughly use the time ladder of what I've been working on at different times throughout each of the days. And so I keep these really simple because for me they're just functional pages of just what I need to get done and what I've been working on. And after that we get to my daily pages for the month. Again, this came from the Patreon printable bundle. And here I write my task list for the day. And then I roughly use the time ladder on the left hand side here for what I've been working on. This was Easter Monday, so I wasn't working, so it was more on things that I was taking classes, doing some prep for a sewing project that I'm hoping to work on soon. And then I just write some thoughts on the day. And for this one, I decorated it with watercolour. And this was back at work, so it tends to be a bit busier when I've got lots of things that I want to get done. But I also write down some more fun things that I'm hoping to do, so like knitting, things like that, which I've been doing a lot of in the evenings. And the decorations are a combination. These were cut from tapes from London Gifties, and this was a La Dolce Vita brand from miso paper. And I think these were just done with brush pens. And so again, I tend to have lots of tasks on working days, but also other little bits to pick up, like things I want to get done around the home, like wash the sheets, things like that. I try and juggle quite a few things. I'm lucky enough to be able to work from home, so it's good to be able to then fit in a few little bits to take pressure off the weekends and evenings, so I've got a bit more time to relax. So again, Saturdays and Sundays, I don't tend to have so much that I have to do. This tends to be more focused on things that I want to do. And just did a little bit of stenciling down the side. And I really love having this space to just reflect on the day. So things that I was working on. So here, a bit of a wet a bit wet on the walk this morning. I finished sewing my patchwork bag, which I'm really pleased with, took the Wanderlust class. So just lovely jotting down those thoughts. For this page, I've decorated with watercolour, which I absolutely love doing in the Hobonichi. It gives the pages a really lovely kind of crinkly sound, and I just think it works beautifully. It's obviously not the same as watercolour paper, but because it wrinkles, you get these beautiful little pools of colour, which I just absolutely love. And here again, these were cut from London Gifties tapes, and I noted that during my lunchtime I watched the first episode of a new series of Race Across the World, which I absolutely love, and it gave me that kind of feeling of wanderlust, wanting to go off exploring. So I really like being able to use associated imagery in my journal where I can. Whilst its main focus for me is the things I need to get done, just being able to write down my thoughts is just really useful for me. It's also kind of that reset at the end of the day before I move on to the next day, particularly if it's something that's been more challenging. And so again, used watercolour on this one just to kind of frame my writing, and a bit more watercolour on these too. At the weekend, I tend to have more time, so that's when I get a bit more creative with my decorations, and during the week it tends to be more stickers and things like that. If I want anything bold to stand out, I'll use perhaps a brush pen. So that's where I held our monthly Patreon live stream. This day I didn't have much to do. I went to Hobbycraft with my mum as an early birthday celebration and bought some lovely fabric, so I just made a few notes about that. It's also where I believe I picked up my awful stomach bug, which was unfortunate. So lots and lots needed doing that day, but I said a really lovely Friday. I worked hard this morning, spent the afternoon working on fun creative projects, so again just nice to have those notes there. And then this is where I woke up having been really ill overnight and my birthday where I still wasn't very well. And for here I used Distress Oxides through a stencil and then spritzed them with water, so it's created this lovely kind of bubbly effect in that ink. So really pleased with that. And then I was back at work, but taking things certainly much easier than I had been while I was still trying to build up a little bit of strength. And these are from the Patreon printable bundle for May. So really similar format, but I just love bringing a bit of variety onto my pages. And here just a little bit of simple collage and notes about my days. So that brings me to the end of April. And then for May, I always just put in the cover page that are from my printables for the month, just kind of as a new chapter heading. And then we get into the month of May. And in my back pocket, I've got things like my colour wheel here, lists of projects I want to work on, some sticker sheets, things like that, just to keep things handy if I've just only got this journal with me and I want to get a little bit creative. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed seeing this flip through. If you've got any questions, please do just let me know, leave them down below. As always, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's joined me over on Patreon. Well, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you're doing really well, and I look forward to speaking with you really soon in my next video.